This chubby little girl is in her 60s, but was crying in the old man's dream. The little girl was in tears, asking the old smoker for help. The old smoker felt sorry for the girl and asked the reason. It turned out the girl was a ginseng baby on Qinglong Mountain. Her parents were caught by bad guys, and she escaped by chance. So she quickly came to ask the old smoker for help. The old smoker made an appointment with the girl and promised to go up the mountain to save her parents. The next day, after breakfast, Lao Yanqi rode Yi Zhanfeng to Qinglong Mountain. Since the next part was all uphill, it was inconvenient to ride a horse. Lao Yan, who prepared to leave Yi Zhanfeng at the foot of the mountain. After explaining his purpose, the old man was polite. He invited the old smoker to come in and rest. When he entered the house, the old smoker found that he was the only one in the house. Only then did he know that the old man's wife died early, and his only son disappeared a few days ago. Hearing this, the old smoker's curiosity was aroused. The old man's son was named Li Zhongping, who made a living by hunting. But a few days ago, Li Zhongping was robbed on the mountain. Those people were also mountain men, but they were very domineering. They not only occupied the mountain, and they didn't allow other mountain men to enter. Li Zhongping and his father had to. They could only go up the mountain secretly, but they never came back after going up the mountain. So, the old man suspected that his son was killed by the gang, and advised the old smoker not to go up the mountain. The old smoker said he was entrusted by others, and he had to go. After saying goodbye to the old man, after the old smoker went up the mountain, he arrived at the place he agreed with Xiao Nua. His left eye twitched. He saw a red light flashing behind a big tree. The old smoker went forward to take a look. The red light came from the tree hole. He looked into the hole. He saw there was indeed a good quality ginseng inside. The old smoker concluded this was the ginseng baby who needed his help. For safety, Lao Yan, who was going to put the ginseng away first, he found a piece of bark, laid moss on it, and then carefully dug out the ginseng. Normally, ginseng can't survive once it's out of the soil, but the old smoker knew a way. If a drop of blood is dripped on a person, 1 drop a day, the ginseng can be kept alive. And it can also be moved to another place. After the old smoker took out the ginseng and packaged it, he talked with the ginseng baby about how to save his parents. The girl is Ren Zhaohong. She asked the smoker to call her Honger. Her parents got separated from her, so she doesn't know where her parents are. Honger worried that her parents would fall into bad hands. She would cut off her own roots. Without roots, it can't survive. The old smoker has also heard this statement, but he didn't expect it to be true. But he also heard that if she is fed with human blood, the root would not be cut off. Thinking of this, the old smoker felt bad. Maybe Li Zhongping was taken by this gang to feed ginseng. Qinglong Mountain is too big, and it would take a while to find them. In a hurry, the old smoker fired 3 shots into the sky. He wanted to lure them into the trap. Perhaps this is the fastest way. Soon, 3 people came out of the woods, surrounded the old smoker in the middle, after taking the old smoker's gun, saying they would feed him to ginseng. On the way, the old smoker used a trick to find out the leader's name. Named Zhang Wang. Half an hour later, the old smoker was brought before another group of people. Zhang Wang went to a one-eyed man and reported. The smoker looked into the distance. He saw 2 people hanging from the tree and seemed to be alive. They were covered in blood and were dripping blood onto the ground. There were 2 top-quality ginsengs on the ground, wearing red ropes, surrounded by copper coins. Several people were digging nearby. The old smoker knew at a glance that these 2 should be Honger's parents. Just as the gang was about to hang the smoker, Lao Yan, who suddenly shouted, "Zhang Bao! Why not do it? What are you waiting for?" When the old smoker shouted, which directly shocked everyone, One-Eyed Dragon reacted quickly. He thought Zhang Wang was a traitor and directly pulled out his gun to shoot. Before Zhang Wang could react, and was shot into a sieve, the old smoker took a gun in the chaos and flipped into the grass with a somersault. Then he found a tree as cover. 2 people fell down on the left with a shot. 2 more fell down on the right. After a few shots, and killed them all. The smoker quickly put the person hanging from the tree down and found out that the man was really Li Zhongping, while the smoker was stopping the bleeding. Honger's voice sounded in his consciousness. "Grandpa, my parents are dying." Hearing this, the old smoker quickly jumped into the hole dug by the gang. He saw that the ginseng had been dug out by half, and it looked a bit withered. The old smoker thought he was too late. He was blaming himself. Honger's parents appeared in his spiritual world. As soon as they appeared, Honger threw herself into their arms. After Honger's father thanked the smoker, told him not to feel guilty, saying it was their couple's tribulation and couldn't blame anyone. Then the man took the smoker and said he had something to ask. It turned out that not only they had a catastrophe, but Honger also had one. Within 3 years, it will be Honger's 60-year catastrophe. He asked the old smoker to take care of Honger for 3 years and try to help Honger through the catastrophe. The old smoker is always a warm-hearted person and agreed. Honger's parents held her and knelt down in front of the old smoker to thank him. The old smoker hurried to help them up, but they all disappeared and disappeared. Honger cried her eyes out. The old smoker had never raised a child and didn't know how to comfort her. He could only let her cry before they went home together. The old man locked the girl named Honger, locked her in the cellar, and didn't feed her and only fed her a drop of blood every day. Over time, the ginseng baby settled down. But after Honger lost her parents, she has been unhappy. She climbed onto the roof and cried at night. The old smoker had no choice. He went to the fortune teller, Mrs. Wang, to ask for advice. According to the old lady, Honger wouldn't live for long, but there would be a chance to survive in 7 days. It all depends on the old smoker himself. The wife felt sorry for Honger, so she asked the old smoker to take her out to play with kids, so she could be happier. The next morning, the old smoker took Honger out for a walk. They saw some children playing sandbag throwing, so he let Honger play with them. Honger was still stern at first, but she was a 60-year-old child after all. But she couldn't resist the temptation and followed the other kids to play. But in no time, the old smoker heard the screams of several children. It turned out that Hong had snatched a sandbag and was throwing it at the kids. Hong is still a ghost. Those children couldn't see her. They could only see the sandbag chasing them. She was scared to wet her pants. The smoker saw this and thought it was terrible, so he quickly pulled Hong Yatu away. But before they took a few steps, he saw Li Zhongping and his wife holding a dirty child, screaming for help. The old smoker hurriedly asked what happened. Li Zhongping said he picked it up on the road, seeing that the child was breathing heavily. So he quickly asked the old smoker for help. The old smoker was cunning and had ideas, but Joran couldn't, so he quickly took them to the health center. Hu Yitong is the village's barefoot doctor. He said the child had been ill for a long time and hadn't eaten for a long time, and he might not survive. Leoyan asked Haitong not to worry and reluctant to use medicine. Just save the child, and he would pay the medical bills. The adults were discussing the child's condition. Hong was not idle either. She went up to the child. She pressed here and poked here and there. She looked very curious. Lao Yanhu was afraid that he would cause trouble again, so he told her to stay away from the child. But others couldn't see Han Yu too. They all thought the old smoker was crazy. He often talks to the air. Just as the old smoker wanted to continue discussing with Hu Yitong how to save the child, but the voice of Situ came from his ear. Situ said the child would not live. He was born with 2.7 liang of fate. Her life is too light to live past 10 years. The old smoker blamed Situ for coming back late and never came back home. The smoker talked to the air for a long time, which made everyone feel creepy. The old smoker saw that the child was only about 10 years old. CI2 said that the child's life was not long. He turned around and saw Hong poking the child's face and told Hong not to make trouble. But unexpectedly, the poke by Hong made the child actually woke up. The old smoker was curious about the child's origin, so he asked. It turned out that she was also a poor girl. Her hometown was hit by a disaster. Only her and her grandma were alive. Her grandma took her begging all the way and soon died of illness. She walked in a daze. She fainted on the side of the road, sick and hungry. Thinking the child was still hungry, Hu Yitong's wife quickly brought a bowl of porridge and let the child fill her stomach first. Seeing the child wake up, he told Hu Yitong to take good care of her. It would be best if she could recover. After that, he called Hong to go home together. At night, the old smoker and the thornhead drank together. During the conversation, the old smoker asked about the two children. He wanted to ask Situ for a way to save the two children. From Situ's words, there is a way, but it's not easy. But before CI2 could continue, they were interrupted by a seam. Saying she caught two hedgehogs stealing food in the barn. Leoanchu quickly explained that they were C2's children, and they live in our house, and hurriedly asked Hong to release the little hedgehogs. But CI2 was not happy, and turned around and went back to the house like a little wife. In a flash, it was the 7th day predicted by Mrs. Wang. It rained heavily with thunder and lightning at night. Laoyan was chatting with his wife on the kang. He heard a thunderclap fall in the backyard. Laoyan shouted that it was not good. He ran to the backyard and was shocked. The cellar where Hong was located was struck by the lightning. The smoker frantically dug the soil, hoping it was not too late. Just then, Hu Yitong from the health center also rushed over in a hurry, saying that the little beggar girl was dying. Lao Yanchu asked Hu Yitong to go back first, saying he would be there soon. Then he called out Situ and asked him to save Hong first. Situ flashed and rescued Hong from the cellar. When he entered the room, Hong Yatu was already out of breath, seeing her body slowly becoming transparent. The old smoker was so anxious that he almost shook Situ dizzy. He insisted that Situ find a way to save her, as long as she can be saved, even if he would be punished by God and lose his life. Situ couldn't bear to see the old smoker sad, so he told him away. He said the little girl in the health center had just passed away. Both children died at the same time. Perhaps this is also fate. Is this the legendary soul transfer technique? The old man was willing to save the 60-year-old girl. He was willing to shorten his life and be punished. The old smoker watched the red girl's body became increasingly faint, so he asked Situ to find a solution. Ci2 asked the old smoker to light a candle, and then called the girl's name 3 times, and saw 3 wisps of smoke float out of Hong's body and attach to the candle. Ci2 said the only way is symbiosis. Let the spirit of Hong girl to attach to the little girl who just died. And in this process, the candle can't be extinguished. Otherwise, even the great immortal can't save her. The old smoker did as Ci2 said, first sucked Hong Yatu's spirit body to the candle. Then he went out with the candle in his raincoat. It was stormy outside. In order to keep the candle from going out, he had to be extra careful. But before he walked far, he was entangled by a big loach on his ankle. The big loach said he was the cousin of the crocodile in Sanjianku and came to take revenge today. The old smoker cared about Hong Yatu and didn't want to fight, but the big loach attacked with deadly move, seeing a tail coming towards his face. The old smoker quickly turned around to block, but only heard a bang. But he didn't feel any pain. He looked back. It was his sworn brother who blocked it for him. Yuan said he had something to do with Lao Yanhu and ended up encountering this scene. Yuan asked the old smoker to leave first. Nikyu asked him to deal with it. Lao Yanhu was worried that Yuan Lao would suffer. But when he saw him eating the big loach and ate it like a spicy strip, he knew how terrifying this old man was. Time waits for no man. Lao Yanhu protected the candle and came to the clinic. Too late to talk to Hu Yitong, he directly took the candle to the child and kept calling the girl's name. After a few words, 3 wisps of smoke slowly drifted into the girl's body. A few minutes later, the girl who just died on the bed actually opened her eyes slowly. Hu Yitong beside him was so surprised that he doubted his ability. Guai Guai had no pulse just now. This is really a resurrection. When the girl woke up, she opened her mouth and called Grandpa. Hearing this voice, it was the voice of Hong girl. Both of them knew what happened, so they went home together with a laugh. When they got home, Yuan Laotu and Situ were both there. The old smoker was in a good mood, so he prepared some good dishes and drank with them. The 3 talked and laughed, and soon heard his wife calling him from behind. The old smoker looked back. The sloppy child before was neatly dressed by his wife, and this outfit was exactly the same as the previous Hong girl. Situ and Yuan Lao saw that the old smoker liked the child very much, suggested that the smoker take the red girl as his goddaughter. Situ pulled the old couple together. Hong was also smart and knelt down to call them parents. The old smoker thought he would have no children in his life, and he would die without anyone to see him off. But who could have thought that he was dying? He picked up a daughter. They drank until morning. They were chatting happily. Wang Fugui from the village rushed in hurriedly, saying he needed Lao Yanye. It was because of the heavy rain last night washed away the cemetery on the west mountain, and the coffins below were exposed. But the corpses inside were all gone. At night, this river, many dead people crawl out of the water at night. They lined up and crawled in the same direction. And these people were the ones that Laoyan was looking for. The missing dead people. A heavy rain washed away the cemetery in the village. But what's strange is that the people inside the coffins that were washed out were gone. The old smoker felt something was wrong, so he called out Ci2 and asked him. Zeta said it wasn't man-made, but was deliberately done by something, and then whispered something to the old smoker. After hearing this, the old smoker had an idea. On the way back, Hong kept pestering the old smoker, asking what Maoki had told him. The old smoker was so annoyed so he had to tell her quietly. When Hong Yadu heard that and thought it was fun, so she wanted to go. The old smoker thought it was too dangerous and refused. Back home, Leo Yanhu told his wife that he needed to take a nap. He would go to Sanju Peak at night. When his wife heard that he was going to Sanju Peak, she told him to be careful, because something strange happened there a few days ago. It was said that several young wives went up the mountain to pick mushrooms. As they were walking, Wang's wife Wang Tishui got separated from them. She was enjoying herself. She heard a baby crying in the woods below Sanju Peak. There was a baby crying. Wang Tishui thought someone had thrown their baby away. Her maternal instinct overflowed, so she went to check it out. Following the cry, she came to the edge of the pool under the woods. She looked up and was scared to wet her pants. She saw by the pool, several black children were lying there, staring at him with big eyes, and grinned widely at him. The friends who went with him searched for a long time, and finally found him passed out by the pool. The smoker heard this. Wang Tishui encountered something similar to what Ci2 said. He asked his wife to buy some coarse salt, and took a nap. Until the evening. Only then did the old smoker wake up under the tease of Hong Yatu. After dinner, he rode the wind to Sanju Peak. After hiding for a while, Leo Yanhu quietly came to the pool to guard. In a few minutes, several people emerged from the water. The smoker saw that these people were the dead who had disappeared in the cemetery, in a strange posture, and climbed towards Sanju Peak in unison. The old smoker quietly waited from a high place. Those people climbed all the way to the stone platform in front of Sanju Peak and then looked up at the moon and slowly opened their mouths. And opened wider and wider. Finally, black and dark monsters crawled out of their mouths. The old smoker saw these guys were actually Donnie, and they were not small. One by one, all came out of those people's mouths. It turned out that those big muds crawled out to suck the essence of moonlight. The old smoker saw that it was almost time. He quietly crept up to the human skins. He secretly poured the salt he brought into the skin and climbed up a tree to watch the show. An hour later, the big muds finished their work before drilling back. The first few just got in. They screamed in pain and jumped out again. They jumped a few times and returned to normal size. They lay on the ground and were dying. A few slow ones hadn't had time to get in yet. They became alert when they saw the appearance of their companions. They raised their heads and sniffed with their little nostrils. Then they saw the old smoker on the tree. They were about to climb up the tree to fight the old smoker. The old smoker stood on the ground and shot one down with his gun. But he didn't notice a big mud was biting him from behind. The old smoker smelled a stench and turned around to see a big mouth kissing him. In a hurry, he leaned back and a backflip hanging on the tree with a golden hook. But at the same time, he dropped the gun and it fell aside. He dodged the one on the tree and another one on the ground. They pounced on him again. The old smoker could only shake his body to avoid. Just as the old smoker was sweating profusely, he heard someone calling him. He looked up and saw it was Hong Yatu. She picked up the gun and was about to give it to him. But just a few steps out, she was pounced on by a big mud. In the panic, Hong Yatu fired a shot, which hit the big mud in the stomach. Then she threw it with all her strength and threw the gun to the smoker. The old smoker caught the shotgun and directly pulled it back and shot the big mud on the tree into a honeycomb. Then he relaxed his legs and then he jumped down from the tree and crushed one. He got up and threw the gun in one go and directly killed the rice that pounced on Hong Girl. Lei Can never missed a shot and never missed. He killed all the rice in no time. The old smoker complained these little things looked cute when they were young. But once they gained some skills, they just want to do evil. Fortunately, he found out early and he exorcised them early. The old smoker lost his hat in the chaos, so he went to the market to buy another one. He couldn't resist Hong and so he wore it. But this trip, he unexpectedly solved a murder case.